Welcome to the program. Now, embattled pastor James Nganga has been released on a 1 million shilling bond with a surety of a similar amount at the Limuru court. Nganga, who is facing 3 charges related to a fatal crash involving a car alleged to be his, was set free this morning after spending 2 nights in the police cells. KTN's Timothy Otieno has been following the events at the Limuru court and now joins us live by way of phone. Timothy, if you could just tell us what was the basis of this particular decision by the senior magistrate.
Yes, Ian. But in addition to the 1 million shilling bond that Pastor Nganga has been released, so remember he is accused alongside 3 others. That happens to be Simon Kuria as well as 2 police constables who have also been released or will be released on a bond of 100,000 Kenya shillings. But basically what the resident magistrate Timothy Tanchi was saying was that the prosecution did not give enough evidence, or rather did not give sufficient evidence to prove otherwise that they would interfere with the investigation, and therefore he saw no need of having them in custody anymore, Ian.
Well, maybe Timothy, if you can talk a bit about some of the charges that Pastor Nganga is facing. What do they include?
Oh yes, Pastor Nganga is facing 4 charges. Of course, one of them is driving recklessly resulting in a death. Another charge that he's facing is the charge of providing false information to the police, as well as a conspiracy to defeat justice, Ian. But also another charge that Pastor Nganga is facing, of course, is failing to report an accident. Now he's being charged for all those offences alongside the other 3 co-accused. But right now he's going to be released on a bond of 1 million shillings, and that's what the court has determined, because they say there is no evidence to prove that he, alongside the 3, will interfere with the investigations for now, Ian.
If you're also able to tell us about the other people who James Nganga has been accused of, what do we know about them?
For Simon Kuria, Christopher Nzioka, as well as Patrick Bayer, who are accused alongside Pastor Nganga, their defense lawyers, however, have taken the directive to release them on bond very positively. But remember yesterday, Ian, they had requested to release on 3 bonds. Simon Kuria's lawyer, as well as Patrick Bayer's attorney, was saying that their clients may not be in a financial position and may not have the financial capacity to pay the bond. Nonetheless, they have been issued with a 100,000 shillings bond. But as far as what is going on into the courts right now, because the proceedings are still ongoing, despite the fact that the judge, the magistrate, has issued his directive, is that there is a need to this prosecution, Ian, in that there is a need, and this is has been floated by the prosecution, that there is a need to extract blood samples from Pastor Nganga so that they can be compared with blood samples from the car scene accident. But Ian, what is the bone of contention, especially for the defense team that is led by Arthur Nyakundi and Cliff Ombeka, is that when their client, is the first accused, Apostle Nganga, was taken into custody that evening, and when he went to check the inspection of the vehicle, he had no physical scars. He was not oozing blood out of his body in any part. So they are really skeptic about why the prosecution is requesting for blood samples from Pastor Nganga to be drawn out for the investigation. They're saying if samples are to be drawn, then first of all, it has to be done in the presence of a private doctor who should be hired by the defense. And so that is the debate going on right now inside court as to whether Pastor Nganga's blood samples can be used as evidence against him in this hearing, Ian.
Thank you very much, Timothy Otieno. We shall link up with you a bit later just to see what comes out of that particular hearing going on right now. Now, while Pastor James Nganga was arguing his case for that bond, bodyguards at his current home viciously attacked KTN journalists who had gone there to follow up on a robbery that occurred last night. KTN's Michelle Ngele and KTN cameraman Tom Nyongesa were attacked and the KTN video camera confiscated by bodyguards. Michelle Ngele now joins us to tell us more about this. Michelle, first of all, very sorry that you had to go through this, but maybe if you could just take us through what happened.
Well, thank you very much, Ian. Well, after we heard reports that Pastor Nganga's house was attacked, was broken into last night, we made our way into the residence in Karen. And as soon as we got there, the bodyguards were very hostile to us, and they viciously came out and instead of telling us that they did not want to speak to the media, they immediately came out, about 6 of them, armed with pangas and rungus, and they started chasing after us. And as we were running, one of them happened to trip our cameraman, Tom Nyongesa, and he fell. And after that, they viciously attacked him, hitting him, kicking him on the head, hitting him with rungus. And after that, they confiscated it. And one of them was actually about to hit him with a panga, to cut him with a panga. And so our driver sort of tried to scare them by trying to hit them with the car, and they retreated. But before doing that, they took our camera and went with it into the residence, and this camera had all the footage of them trying to attack us. And even as they did that, they told us that they did not care if we reported this matter to the media. And so after that...
Well, Michelle, before we go on, is Tom Nyongesa okay?
Well, he has been taken by one of our security officers for a medical checkup, after which he will receive a jab and he will get a P3 form. But he is in quite a bit of pain and his hand is bleeding pretty bad.
Okay, and I understand that you're currently at the Langata police station. What's happening there?
Well, Ian, we had to follow up on how to retrieve our camera, and after we were attacked, we made our way to Hadi police station in Karen, where we recorded statements of assault and of confiscation of our camera. We did go back to the residence with the police from Hadi police station, but they barely helped us, Ian, because as soon as we got there, we found that 5 of the 6 people who had attacked us had escaped, and some of them by foot. And so some of the police said that they would follow up and try to catch these people who escaped, while the one person who was there, who'd been found there, was questioned by the police. And he completely denied allegations of assaulting us, Ian, which is, he said that they only chased after us after our cameraman tried to jump through the fence, allegations which are completely false. But even after questioning, instead of being taken into custody, the police let this man get back into the residence. And they told us that they would follow up on these 5 men who ran away. But the police decided to go back to the police station and not follow up. And so from there, we decided to come to the Langata police station to speak to the OCPD and Mr. Mwangi Kuria. And here he did give us a statement of what happened last night. He told us that 4 men raided in the Pastor Nganga's house at about 3 a.m. in the night. One of them was armed, and they made away with jewelry and electronics of about 500,000 shillings. Now, as of now, Ian, there is a lot of solidarity from the media. We have several other media houses following us around, asking for justice for this one journalist, as well as helping us retrieve our camera. And the OCPD, who was all the way at the president's event, came back to the police station, and he has rounded up a few policemen. And as we speak, we are headed back to Pastor Nganga's residence, where we will be able to retrieve this camera.
Thank you for that update, Michelle, and we do hope that you'll be able to retrieve the camera that was taken by these unknown people, and that you'll get enough support from the police. Of course, we shall keep you updated on this particular story. Michelle Ngele telling us there that our camera person, Tom Nyongesa, who was attacked, is indeed recovering from this particular incident. Now, let's move on to other stories. 7 people died last night in a road accident along the Nyeri-Nairobi highway. The accident, involving 3 lorries, occurred near Kibirigwi town. One lorry was carrying goats, another French beans, and the other was ferrying sand. Area residents helped some of the victims who were trapped in the wreck.
This is the wreckage left behind last night after an accident involving 3 heavy commercial vehicles. An accident that left 7 people dead. Witnesses claim the driver of one of the trucks was speeding.
Mimi nasafirishanga mizigo kutoka Nyeri kwenda Nairobi. Sasa wakati tulikuwa tunaelekea pande ya Nairobi, tukiwa jana tunakuja hapo kwa ile mlima, ndio hii lori kumeanguka hapa, ndio ilitupita, ilikuwa spidi ya high sana. Ilikuwa almost 180 to 200. Sasa wakati ilitupita hivi, ile dereva tulikuwa na kaniambia naona kama hiyo hali ni spidi haina brake. Nikamwambia hapana, hii si brake. Hiyo lori ni empty, sababu ilikuwa inaonekana kama ni empty. Na tukaona kama ni speed tu ya kawaida ile wanaendaga aende Nairobi afike halafu arundi. Saa wakati tulipiga ile kona, ndio tuliona hiyo lori sasa imegonga, ile lori imeanguka pale. Hiyo ikaanguka huko ikaisha, alafu ikakuja ikapirigika kidogo ikagonga hii tipa iko hapa. Na sisi naye wakati ule tukafika wakati huo. Tukakuta tu maiti ndio imetapakaa kwa barabara na mabusi hapo.
In the wake of the road accident, the area was strewn with the bodies of the victims, goats that were being ferried and other goods. Residents are now calling on the highway authority to mark the road.
Hii lori imeanguka ilikuwa with a very high speed. Tulisikia kwa mgurumo, tulikuwa kwa town na kutoka hapa imetendeka kufika town kama kilomita 1.5 hivi. Hii gari ilianguka ikatoa sauti kubwa. Sasa hii maneno hata tukakibia ndio mpaka saa hii tuko hapa.
Only 3 people survived the accident. They are undergoing treatment at the Jamii Hospital in Karatina.
I think this is purely an accident, and we are yet to establish the cause of the accident. And like I told you before, investigations are underway so that we are able to establish exactly what might have happened.
Trix Ingado, KTN News.
Officers from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission have arrested a magistrate and a court clerk at the Kericho Law Courts for allegedly receiving bribes. The two were apprehended after a trap set by the EACC officers.
Kericho Magistrate Judith Nyakol and Court Clerk Robert Cheriot allegedly received 10,000 shillings as a bribe from a second-generation brew dealer whose case was before the court to the effect that he was fined 5,000 shillings and freed. Sources allege the magistrate fled from her office upon getting wind of the impending arrest, but later surrendered herself to the officers at Kericho Police Station, where she was interrogated. 10,000 shillings was recovered from her handbag and 1,000 shilling notes whose serial numbers corresponded with cash that was being used by the EACC officers to set the trap. The court clerk was also arrested after being found in possession of the same notes. This was confirmed by the EACC officers.
EH7040. The clerk was found with money, but the magistrate was found with the money which is not known how much. The clerk was found with 10,000 shillings in the pocket, but the magistrate, the amount is not yet known. So the investigation is still going on by the anti-corruption team, and when it is complete is when we shall have to know what action they are going to take against them.
Kericho County Police Commander Rose Muchuma confirmed the arrest, adding that the two were grilled by the EACC officers at the police station. The two will be arraigned in a Nakuru court next week. Trix Ingado, KTN News.
Let us now move to a bittersweet story that has been making headlines for the past few weeks. The Coalition for Reforms and Democracy, CORD, have begun their series of rallies seen as seeking to undo the political onslaught by Jubilee last week on the sugar deal standoff. CORD luminaries are expected to visit at least 5 major towns along the sugar belt. Today they were heading to Busia, and KTN's Dorcas Wangira is there with the very latest. Dorcas, I understand this particular function has begun. What are some of the issues that are coming up?
Yes. As we speak, CORD leader Raila Odinga is addressing the crowd, and he's just given a kitendawili that has raised the political temperatures here. They're all the leaders from CORD in this region, the Busia governor, the senator, and MPs. But mostly they've been talking about the Uganda-Kenya sugar deal.
Okay, and also I understand that, of course, majorly these particular rallies are targeting farmers. Have you had a chance to talk to them, and what do they think about this particular issue?
Okay, yes, Ian. However, I must say that the rally hasn't attracted the mammoth crowd that they hoped it would. But those we have spoken to have mixed reactions. There's a lot of confusion, especially after the Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs said that this deal hasn't been officially signed. But those we've spoken to have bought into the CORD line, hook, line, and sinker. And I must mention that there are 2 factories here in Busia that are expected to be revived. So many of them are saying if sugar is going to come from Uganda, they don't understand why the government is investing outside more than here.
Also, if you know, I understand that CORD is going to visit about 5 other major towns. Do you know these particular towns?
Okay, yes, they're expected to visit Nambale, Chemelil, Muhoroni, and Nandi. So this is in their tour for today, but they're already running behind schedule. Let's see how that pans out.
Thank you very much, Dr. Songira, just giving us an update where CORD, Coalition for Reforms and Democracy, is currently going through to 5 major towns to talk about the sugar deal that was apparently made last week by the Jubilee government. Now, we want to take a short commercial break, but when we come back, of course, we shall be looking at why farmers are now opting to go into sugarcane, to go out of sugarcane rather, among other stories. Stay tuned.
Even governors have not been paid if we were to go on strike. But let me also tell you, something else. What is happening also within the medical staff is that there is another question about all promotions that were never done by the national government. And the salary, the doctors and nurses are asking us to give them arrears dating back to 10 years ago. Yeah, and bear in mind that we just came into being 1.5 years ago.
Welcome back. This is Newsdesk on KTN News, where we give you the whole story. And now, let's get into sports. Former marathon world record holder Wilson Kipsang says the doping allegations in athletics and Beijing's high levels of population are not worrying the Kenyan team as they prepare for the IAAF World Championships, which begin on Saturday.
The world of athletics has been shaken by doping allegations that have hit home, with Kenyan athletes under intense scrutiny due to these allegations. However, these allegations, while they continue to be fodder for world media, do not distract the Kenyan camp. Wilson Kipsang believes the doping allegations surrounding athletics have not distracted him or his Kenyan teammates from preparing for the IAAF World Championships that kick off on Saturday.
We have nothing much to say because ours is just to train and prepare for a race, and those athletes who have been selected, you find that it doesn't affect us so much.
The former marathon world record holder said that the team was focused on the championships and they benefited from not having any member of the squad named in the allegations. The IAAF has endured 3 torrid weeks of embarrassing leaks and accusation that it has neglected its duty to root out drug cheats. Another headache facing organizers of the World Championships is Beijing's pollution levels. However, Kipsang does not think that will be a big bother to the Kenyan side.
When it comes to such a competition, you find that we have nothing to do. We have to run with the conditions that is available, whether it is hot, whether the air is polluted, because it's part of the competition.
Kipsang admits that it is unlikely that the world record of 2 hours, 2 minutes and 57 seconds will be lowered at the championships. Hassan Juma, KTN Sports.
Elsewhere, local rugby lovers' menu will be spiced this weekend when the 3rd round of the 2015 National Sevens Series, and thus the Driftwood Sevens, takes place in Mombasa. And as the fans enjoy the action, the top 4 sides of the log will be battling for a top finish so as to better their series log standings.
Kenya Harlequins, the current leaders of the 2015 National Sevens Series, having accumulated 41 points, will head into the Driftwood Sevens, that being the 3rd round of the 2015 National Sevens Series, boasted by 6 clear points of second place the top fry Nakuru, and a further 9 points ahead of series defending champions KCB. Termed as a group of death, Pool A will have top fry Nakuru, Mamba RFC, Kabras Sugar and Combras. Top fry Nakuru and KCB will count on an early Queen's exit from the cup competition while furthering their own courses. In Pool B, Kenya Harlequins is expected to stand tall against Total Nondis, Western Bulls and Catholic Monks. Homeboys RFC, geared to defending their Driftwood crown, will have a hard time trying to make their bids sink against Pan-African Strathmore Lews, Black Blood and Kisii in Group C. Pan-African and Strathmore Lews lies 4th on the log with 29 points and still have a realistic chance of challenging for a first series crown since their 2009 exploits. In Pool D, Resolution Impala Saracens lock horns with KCB, the overall series defending champions, with Daystar Falcons and Kisumu RFC expected to offer them little opposition.
And that story brings us to a close for our viewers on KTN Home. But Newsdesk continues on KTN News. My name is Ian Ofula. Keep it KTN.